So let's go to login and log in. That's what I just did here. And there's also the option to use ThinLinc, and I am going to do that as well in just a short moment. So you either log in with SSH like I did here, or you log in the ThinLinc, and the main login node is this one here. That's the one I logged into. If you're using ThinLinc, you log into this one instead. Just notice the -TL. You can also go there directly through a browser. It has somewhat less features, but that would mean to just go to this address here. In addition, there's a login node for the AMD-based nodes, and I will talk a little about it later, but you use that if you want to check what software is available on the AMD nodes. You don't need to submit it from there, the job. You can submit it from the regular login node and then just say you want it to run on an AMD node and it will go there anyway. But there is a login node for it to check what software is there, but also if you need to build something that you want to be for that architecture, for instance. And using ThinLink, that may be what you're using now, but I think it's easiest that I just show you how to use it. But to install it, you download it from here, and there will be an executable file, that exe file that you can run in Windows. If you're on Mac, there is some information here on ThinLink's page. And if you're on Linux, you download the Debian file or .deb file, and then you run it sudo dpackage -i, the path to the file, and then the file you downloaded. And it will install. That's all you need to do. Then you start the client and enter the name. So let me go ahead and find ThinLink. This I have installed on my computer here. And then I type in Kebnekaise -TL PC2N Umeå SE for the server, and then my username. And then you should put the password here, because if you don't put the password, it will ask for it, but it will also fail, so it doesn't work correctly unless you put the password here. If you have a previous session running, you can end it. You don't have to. It will connect to it. But if there is some problem, you can try ending the existing session, and that will sometimes fix the problem. But let's now just go. This is advanced. Let's go options, because you should make sure it's set to windowed on the display mode, because especially if you have a small screen, it may flow further out than the space of the screen, which makes it difficult to work with if you don't put it windowed. And let's see, security. You need to make sure it has password as authentication method, and I believe that is all there is. Yes. Okay, so let's go ahead and connect. So we are connected. And note that if it's the first time you connect, it will take a little bit longer for it to connect. So it will need a little bit more time then to set everything up. But then you will be connected and it will look like this. It will not have this one shortcut here because that's one I have made. It will actually, I think, only have this one here that is for your home. But you can create shortcuts on the screen by going here and pulling it and dropping it. Then it will make a shortcut. So under System, you will find the Logout button, and under Applications, you'll go down to System Tools, and then out here, and then you can pick Mate Terminal. And then you will get a terminal where you can type stuff in. And you could, for instance, do the git clone here. And you can also start an web browser. It's under internet, and then you can start Firefox. So you can copy things from in here. And we could go to GitHub here. And I'm not logged into it here, so I probably need to, let's see, go to HPC2N. And then you can see you can go here, and here I can handily copy this and paste it. And then I also clone it here, and it already exists because I just did this. But now I can instead go ahead and go to this storage space I had. That. And I already downloaded it here as well. But this is how it looks on the ThinLinc client. So I'm going to close this down for a little while. And I'm going to briefly say that passwords, you get your first temporary password from this page here. And that is where you will be linked. It will send you here from the link you get in the email you get when your account is set up. And you will authenticate through Super. So when you click here, then it will ask you to sign into Super if you haven't. And if you have, you just confirm that this is you, and then you will be shown a page with a temporary password. And let's see there. When you have that, you will log in. And of course, always remember HPC2N and Super have separate passwords. And you can change this password, which is a good idea because it will not be easy to remember. And you change it with the command passwd. So you write that, you type enter, and then it first will ask you to type in your current password. So you type in the one you got for the temporary password and press enter. Then you type a new password, press enter, and then you type it again and press enter. And now the password is changed. It will take maybe up to a few minutes before it's everywhere, but after that you can log in with it. And that's a good idea. Change it to something you can remember. I am not going to talk about file transfers as part of this course, but you may have to do so as part of your workflow because maybe you're transferring something from another system, another HPC center, or maybe from your home computer or from a department compute server or something. So I'll just say that you can use SCP, and that is a simple way of transferring files. There are some examples here. Remote to local and local to remote. You can go in and follow these if you need them. And you can also copy a whole directory. Another option is to use SFTP, and you can also use rsync. What you cannot use is FTP, regular FTP, because that is not secure. But you can use SFTP and SCP and rsync. If you're using Windows, you need to download a client. And FileZilla is free and easy to use. So that is a good option. And that will do SFTP. And for Mac, there is CyberDoc, I believe. And then also you can use SFTP and SCP from the command line. So editors. The editors on a Linux system are different to those you may be familiar with if you're using Windows or Mac OS. And there are both command line editors and there are graphical editors. If you connect with regular SSH, as I'm doing here, then it's simplest to use a command line editor. And because then you don't have to set up X11 forwarding. But you can do it, but it will usually be slow. So it's easier to just use a command line editor. If you use ThinLinc, you can use either command line editor or you can use graphical editors as you want. Some of the good ones to use on the command line are Nano and VI or Vim and also Emacs. VI, Vim or Emacs are the more powerful ones, but they are also they take a little time to get to learn to use, and they have a steep learning curve. So if you don't know any of them, Nano is probably the best one to use, and it is it certainly has all the things you need to be able to use it normally. Just yeah, it can do most things you need. So you can start it with Nano or Nano file name. And if you just start it with Nano and then type something into it and save it, then it will ask you what to call it. If you start it with Nano file name, it will either open that file if it exists or it will create it. So let's try using Nano to open a file that doesn't yet exist. So let me say Nano my text file text, and I'm opening it. And as you can see, like here, I have this space that I can write in. Hello, this is a text file. And here at the bottom is shown some of the commands. And you see that in front of the command, or the command is a hat character and then some letter. And what you do then is that you press Control button or Control tab, Control on the keyboard, and you hold it down while you press this letter it suggests. So let's try press X for exit. Then it says, do you want to save the modified buffer? And if I just press Y, it will say yes. And then it will say the file name to write and suggest the one that I typed in when I started Nano. And if I'm fine with that, I just press enter now, or I can change it. If I have changed my mind, it should be called something else, or if I was editing something that I don't actually want to overwrite. So now I'm just going to press enter, and then it saves it. And then the file is now here, as you can see. So you can use that to edit the files. And there is also editors on the GUI. And there you will have to well, let me change. Let's see. I just want to open this here. Good. Okay, so you can use the command line editors here on the terminal that you got from Applications, System Tools, Mate Terminal. The other option is that you go into Accessories and then you can pick one of the GUI editors. Atom is very powerful. It's more than a editor. It's more like a programming environment. And there are different ones here. There's a Emacs GUI, and there's Pluma and Vim. I suggest you use the one that there's also an edit, which also is good. But I think maybe you want to use the one that's called Text Editor, because that would probably be the better one of them. For a simple one that has some abilities. And what you do with that is you can open here And then it will actually open this file browser, and you can pick a file, which is useful. Or you can pick ones that you have opened recently, or you can create a new file with that one here, create a new document. And you also can do find and replace in it, and you could go to line. So it actually has some useful abilities here. And I am writing something, and then you click save, and then you can use a file browser to figure out where you want to save it and type what you want here, the same way as you would do with any graphical editor. So I'm just going to close this here. So I recommend to use gedit when you're using a GUI editor. And then there is one thing I'm going to do here at the end before I go to the next section. And that is I'm going to do a small teaser for the HPC2N OpenOnDemand desktop, which is not yet developed, but which we are working on getting developed here. And if you're using Lunark, you may have tried it, but I am just going to open it again here, and now I'm going to go to Portal. And the address here, you can currently only open it within HPC2N, so that is why I'm doing it within that. And it will be available elsewhere when we get it done. But right now it looks like this. And there are some information about it here. But you log in and you sign in with the regular HPC2N account. So I'm doing that. And no, I don't want to save my password. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. And when it gets done, there will be a lot more stuff here. But right now it looks like this, and the idea is that you will eventually be able to run many things here. There is Jupyter Notebooks and MATLAB and RStudio right now. There's also a Kebnekaise desktop that you could go and you could choose if you want a specific desktop environment. The one that is here on ThinLinc is Mate. There's also XFCE to pick. And then you type in your compute project here. When you launch this, you will get an interactive desktop on one or more compute nodes where you can then directly run stuff sitting on a compute node. So that means it will be faster and more streamlined maybe to do things. And I'm going to type in the number we have for this course project. I'm just asking for 1 hour, 1 core. And I don't care what node I get right now, but it is possible to pick any node, any GPU, or a large memory node. And if it takes a while to start, you could click I would like to receive an email when the session starts. I'm just going to try and launch it and see what happens. And my job is currently sitting in queue, it tells me. It's queued, and it tells me I can delete it if I don't want to wait. But it's already starting, so giving it a few minutes more. And now it has started. It's running. So I could launch it, and I'm going to do that. And now I am actually running a desktop like you did on ThinLinc, but this time I'm running it on a compute node, and that means that I can run things here directly. I don't have to submit it as a job because I already have a job running. And you can see here there are some things that you can do. There isn't a lot yet because, as I said, it's under development. But let's open the terminal. And you can see here we are on this node here. So I'm just going to go back here and then I'm going to click Jupyter Notebook instead. And you can see this looks much like it did when you were starting the desktop. And I'm again going to do this. I'm just going to let it start in my home directory. And then I launch it. And then I also get that session shown here, and it's also queued. And I'm going to delete the other one meanwhile. Yes. So what happens here is that it is running a batch job in the background. You gave it the commands to it here, and then you will get a node that you can run on directly. So now you can start Jupyter Lab and work on it. I'm just going to select that. There are still some things that are not working correctly, but this is a work in progress, but hopefully it's going to be up and open for users soon. And then you can work on it more like you would if you're sitting directly on a compute node, or if you were without having to create the batch jobs and things like this. So, but I am going to stop this and then I will check the time.